guys, so I got the A-pillar on the table. I just popped it out from its little spot in here. There's a few little tabs right there that you kind of have to like pull backward, but just kind of work with it, it'll come out. These are the little tabs I'm talking about. So anyways, what I had to do, I think this is an autometer gauge pillar and it sits over top of the standard A-pillar. So when I first put it on, it wasn't fitting properly, like sitting all the way down, because the wires were like bunching up, which I assume would be kind of in this area. So what I had to do, and I thought this was the best idea, but I just cut like a slit in the A-pillar, kind of right where the wires were. I measured it out because like I didn't want to put the wires or like cut all the way back to here. So this worked just fine. Then I cut, so there, you see how there's like a little triangle right beside this little pillar here? I cut it out on the opposite side, and then I just run the wires through it, so then they don't bunch up kind of in this area. So it seemed to fit. I test fitted already. It sat back in its spot with no issues. And yeah, just had to drill little holes for this to clamp onto it. And yeah, it seems to look really good. And for wiring, what I'm gonna do is run the wires through that little gap there, down through the dash, which will come out just behind here. This is gonna refocus kind of in this area. And then there's a spot in this area. There's like a junction box. One of the fuses, or more than one, is supposed to have power when the key is on. And I'm just gonna put it at a fuse and then just kind of run the wire behind the dash here. Probably pop the center console out because I think there's a gap kind of in this area. I'll be able to get the wire to. And the ground wire, I'm gonna run to just behind the dash here. There was a big bolt, so that seemed like a good ground. And then from there, the boost gauge has a RPM like shift light built into it, so it's like a 2-in-1 combo. I have a watt box and it sits in the passenger footwell over there, so I'm just gonna run the wire for that along with the power wire, and just tap into the orange wire because that's the wire that goes back to the car. So that should be good. And headlights, I got to figure out which one of these is the headlight wire. When you turn the lights on, the gauge is dimmed down. That should be good. And then moving on, the boost gauge has a map sensor, and I'm gonna tap it into this right here, and I'll probably put the map sensor, I was kind of thinking like right here. There's a little hole right there, and I was thinking if I put the map sensor kind of like down here, then the hose for the map sensor to go to there doesn't have to be super long. And then another reason why is because the wire can slip through there, and then once I get the wheel off, it can go behind the fender liner, and there's a grommet that goes into the kind of footwell of the car that sits like kind of in this area. I'll see if I can show you guys. Yeah, right in front of you. I'll check back in once I get some wiring going and see how it goes. All right guys, so I got the gauges into the car. I'm outside today because we had to move some stuff around in the shop. So hopefully you don't hear too much wind noise. So here they look. Here's how they look in the car. Kind of how it looks from my point of view. So they look really good. I still gotta run the actual Ep4 cable to the exhaust, but that should be pretty easy. But I'm gonna try and show you guys kind of like a little bit of a tutorial on how to do this, or maybe just a little bit of help on how to do this if you have no idea how or you're just not familiar. And so I'll just start from the beginning. You guys already saw how I ran this wiring on the actual gauges behind the pillar, and we're just going to move downward. There's a gap right in this area, and it brings the wire down kind of following here, and it should come out around your clutch pedal area, and you can actually see it. You see that wire loom right there. So I put the whole all the wires in loom so it looks kind of OEM, and you don't have random wires everywhere, and just keep it nice. And if you look on the bottom, try and show you, here's the already existing harness, and here's the wires I added. So I just zip tied it to there, and it's not dangling down. It looks good, and I think that's good. So on these gauges, you have a white wire, a red wire, and a black wire. So I joined the two red wires together, the two black wires together, and the white wires together. And that's because the wires are honestly really short, and they probably only went to like here. So obviously I had to extend the wires. So I just crimped them together. And where I put my black wire to this bolt, there it is. That bolt right there, I put the black wire to. As you can see, it's running. I put the black wire to. I still have to loom this wire. As you can see, it's kind of dangling down. I literally just finished this, so I got to wrap that up and make it look good. So that's where the black wire went. The white wire, as you can see, kind of comes out of the my little harness, right? Focus in the same place. It comes up. I fed it through the headlight switch area. You can see it sitting back there, dipping into the existing harness. So I just snuck it in there just so there's not a random white wire kind of hanging out in here. And if you're wondering which wire to hook up your dimmer switch to, is this tan wire right on the edge of my fingernail. It's a tan wire with a white stripe, and it sits right beside, what is that, pin 9? Pin 9. Right beside the red wire with the white stripe. And if you're wondering what this bulge is right here, I used, where did I put them? I used one of these little kind of connector guys. So if you look at it from the front, one wire passes through, one wire does not. So the idea is you take your wire, you sneak it onto the other one that's already existing, and you put your new wire into the other slot, and then you just push this little metal tab down, and it joins the two wires together by kind of touching the metal, if that makes sense. So you push that down, and then you fold this over, and it like seals it up. So that's what I did there. And the white wire, as you can see, is sitting right there. So I just put it on duct tape, so everything, because it had duct tape actually, or not duct tape, electrical tape already on it. So all the electrical tape looks like factory except for this little box right here. So that's where the white wire goes. And moving on to the power wire and the RPM signal. So, if I get in focus here, the boost gauge from Innovative has a shift light built into it. So I have an extra wire. Thankfully, they're going to the same place. So if you look here, underneath the car again, the harness I have runs back here, and it goes behind this panel. Okay, so this panel pops out right here, and I'll move around to the other side. So here I am on the other side. As you can see, there's like a perfect gap behind there. There's honestly a lot of room back here. And the harness just runs back here. I zip tied it to just this wire right here just to keep it from, shaking around. And then I put the wires, as you can see, the harness, my little harness right here, just runs along the underside of the dash. and it's zip tied to this existing harness that also runs here. So I have a watt box in this car. As you can see, it's sitting here. I should honestly probably put this in a better spot, but that's where it sits for now. So underneath this junction box, I put a add fuse. So you plug it into where the existing fuse was, and it has 2 slots on it. So one slot is for the already existing fuse, and then it has a second slot for your new fuse, and it has a wire, which is right here, coming off of it, so you can add your wire to it. So as you can see, my 2 reds come out of here, and I crimped it together, put some heat shrink over it to keep it sealed, and it works good. So if you're wondering which wire or which fuse to put your add fuse on, there's more than one option, but what I opted to do was I put my add fuse in the ABS fuse. So the ABS should always be on when you turn your key on, and it should turn off when your key is off. So I put it there. It works, and I thought that was a good option because, you know, honestly, if you're having issues with your ABS, you got a bigger issue than your gauges. So that's why I picked that one. And moving on to the watt box, I put another one of those little kind of wire connectors right there, because I don't want to mess with this watt box wiring too much, because that's what keeps the car running, obviously. So I put it to the orange wire, and the reason for that is because the wiring, the red one is in and the orange is out. It has to be the wire that comes out, not in. I'm not exactly sure why, but the voltage might be a little bit different or something's there, but do it on the out wire. So this is my RPM signal wire for the gauge to read onto the orange, and you know, the watt box does its thing and the gauge reads the RPM. And so it looks good. You know, it's not totally hidden in here, but honestly, with the kick panel on, you know, nobody's gonna see that, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, and to just show you guys that everything works, I'm gonna turn the key. Sorry for the sun glare. I'm kind of try and keep you guys over here. So you can see they work, and they work with the dimmer switch, so everything's working perfectly. Okay, so here's the new harness I made for the fans. It's relatively simple for anyone wondering, looking to do it themselves or install this in their car. So I'll just start from the beginning here. This is the old harness from the old fan. I just took it off the old fan. I cut the connector off right there because we don't need this guy anymore. So keeping this will allow you to have high and low speed fan, and you don't have to mess with your engine harness or, you know, run a toggle switch or anything like that, which I wanted to do, and will make it better for a daily driver. So once you cut that tip off, I use these 2 connectors here. I got these off Amazon. They're made specifically for the Spall fans I'm using, so these connect right into them. And then right at the connection point here, I took the 2 black wires, so you can see 1 black wire, 2 black wires, and I joined them together and connected them with the main black wire here. And same goes for the red wires. Just put them together, soldered them along with the main red wire here, heat shrink over it, and yeah, that's about it. So it should work just like factory, and you know, it looks pretty clean, doesn't look too messed with. And the only other thing I'm gonna do that I haven't done yet is gonna put some wire loom over this, and it should be good. So hopefully that helps anyone looking to do this themselves, or, you know, install it in their car. It's honestly super easy. So hopefully this helps you out. All right, guys, you're probably wondering why you're looking at me and not the actual fan being put in the car, or showing you what it looked like when it was done. I forgot to film the installation, so that's my bad, but I thought I'd just come in here and show you guys it on the car. So I'll flip the camera around and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So here we are in front of the car. Got a pretty sweet background to work with, but I'll keep on track with you guys here. Just wanted to show you the actual fan shroud in the car because I forgot to film it. And just a little side view here. So you can see it's super thin. There's one fan there. Can't really see the other one, but it's on the opposite side at the bottom. And the fan connectors are right there. So installing it, super easy. You guys didn't really miss anything. It installs just like a factory fan, so no problems there. The only real issue I had with this fan shroud, which was my own fault, is it doesn't have any mounts for the coolant expansion tank or the power steering reservoir. So what I had to do is I used these little brackets I had laying around. You can see right there. And oh, come on camera. Right there. So I had to make something work because I didn't have anything else really on hand, and I bolted it to the fan shroud, and the real problem is that this guy's sagging. You can see that. So it was holding itself up, but I think this tank is just a little bit too heavy for those little brackets to hold it up. So my potential fix for that problem is I ordered an aluminum expansion tank, and it's shaped more flat. It's more like a box instead of that thing's weird shape. And it already kind of has these brackets like built into it, so it's all like one piece. And I'm hoping that once that shows up, I can just replace this and bolt it directly to that. And if that still doesn't work, my friend who's a welder, he's good with aluminum and everything. He said he would build me like a proper bracket so it's actually supported properly and shouldn't have that problem anymore. So either way, I'm gonna make it so it actually doesn't sag and it looks good at the same time, because you know you want it to look good. And the power steering reservoir, this guy's been chilling since the start. It doesn't weigh that much, so this little bracket's honestly working. You can't really do anything with it unless you found like a aluminum reservoir for that. I might just leave this one because it's working, and you know, if it's working, don't fix it. So I'm not sure about him, but this is more the main concern right now just because it's sagging. So I'll fix that. But like I said before, the car's not overheating. It's keeping itself cool. It's staying within its range. It has low speed, high speed fans, and the fans also come on when you turn the AC on. So that's working really good. No complaints about any of that stuff. And I've yet to test these fans fully on a racetrack and like actually working the car really hard. The track I went to was kind of demanding, where you're working the car hard, but you're also not going super fast. It was like an autocross track. So, you know, are you really working the car that hard? Are you not? Are you, there's not a lot of airflow. So the car still didn't overheat. It stayed in its range. I was monitoring it. So other than that, there's not really much left to show you guys. Now that we're at the end, putting the Pro Charger on overall, decently easy. Just don't do custom intercooler pipes. It makes it a lot more annoying. And that guy, we don't like him. But anyways, what's next for the car? I'm hoping to put on some GT500 brakes from this generation GT500 and replace those guys, which are all right, but not really that great on track. So hopefully that'll fix that problem. And the other thing is I have a BMR upper control arm and BMR upper control arm bracket. That should be here next week. I'm hoping to make a video about it, show you guys that. Hopefully it goes well, but I'll show you what happens, whatever happens, I guess. So I hope you guys enjoyed the videos. Hopefully they're a little bit informative, maybe a little bit entertaining. Who knows? That's up for you guys to decide. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.